With these macabre fantasies, leaving my friend to take notes at university, I set off accompanied by my father to go to the barracks on the appointed day. On the train, there were many other boys of my age who encouraged each other and told terrible anecdotes in our own car. It was without saying that no one would have thought of being accompanied by a parent. I leave you here. Take care of it yourself, my father hastened to tell me, when the crowd of summons was already crawling in front of the closed door of the barracks. Probably the only adult in that rabble, my father was beginning to feel uneasy. I didn't have time to say yes, that had already disappeared. The dream continued. I was alone in a place I didn't know, among boys who fortunately didn't even notice me. A sort of road call began, the doors opened, the crowd entered. Everyone was moving except me. I sat down on a nearby bench, waited for everyone to enter and for silence to return. A man in military uniform looked around, people saw me and closed the door behind him. Here I am alone, absorbed in myself, thinking about anything but that strange world of uniforms with which I had nothing to do. What happened? My father asked, alarmed. We returned to take a walk in front of the barracks just a half an hour later. I woke up as if faced with a sudden apparition. Success? What? Happened? What? Why didn't you come in? Why is there anyone out there anymore? I don't know. I said, oh, why should I have entered? And he said, but you had to. They summoned you. Not entering is a crime. In short, he was visibly agitated, if not running on the door. It was opened and he gesticulating, red with anger and shame, explained my situation. Completely upset and more confused, I was invited to enter. Surprisingly, a big boy in camouflage took me in by the hand. It must have been ordered like this, but I didn't understand there and then, and led me first to a psychologist, then to do a urine analysis, and then to undress in a common room to have my wasted physique analyzed. Yeah, I tell it also quickly because for me it was several acts of a single chaotic dream. I didn't answer specific questions. I remained on my own to gestures of impatience by the military, dazed and disconcerting everyone. Urgency procedure for the boy. I suddenly heard shouts around me. Someone else took me by the hand, as if I were some kind of handicapped person, and led me to a psychiatrist who, as I understand it, was in charge of evaluating the borderline cases. In the small waiting room there was the strangest and most comically decorated characters, demented transvestites, a 30 years old full of nervous tics. I answered the doctor's question in monosyllabes, only managed to spell out my name, but when it came to listing diseases or specifying ailments, I couldn't help but shrug with a of into a well, or falling into a well. Okay, go ahead. I remember he didn't even look me in the eye. I was exhorted back to one office, then to yet another. I really couldn't understand why so many people were busy for me. For the first time, the cumbersome state mechanism made his entrance into my life, and I found it almost vexing to be carried away by its useless mechanism, until it was discarded and spit out in useless and sad life that I had just left. The commander, with a certain air of authority, finally gave orders to leave my father summoned immediately. To have my father summoned immediately. Take him away. This is no place for him, he said. Thus, it was that my 3-day conscription visit was reduced to just an hour. The diagnosis, physical and mental weakness, and an ironic judgment muttered through gritted teeth by one of the young soldiers of the commission. If everyone was like this young man here, what would become of Italy? He said. I collected everything with a certain pride. There was certainly some masochism in myself sinking in the lower levels of the dignity of a human being, but also but also something else. Was this really the adult world, a vast of bureaucrats in pinstripe suits or camouflage suits, following stupid and formal rules, faded by time, in which perhaps not even they believed completely? You got away with it, you can count yourself lucky, my father commented, having the same sigh of relief as when I was able to enter the university world, or when I passed my final exams brilliantly. Who knows, probably the idea of failure he had made on me, life should have beaten me much harder. Only one thing left a bad taste in my mouth during that brief adventure in the barracks. Something about all those handsome young men, sure of themselves, naturally loyal to their views or life in common, had fascinated me. Seeing that I was sad at the time of being reformed, the commander asked me with an ironic air, "What's up? Wouldn't you like to stay? Would you like to stay with us?" I didn't answer. Right back just in time, I turned to avoid being infected by their contempt. For just a moment I had imagined a life among those boys, so far away from me, yet so much stronger and happier. A life in another universe, far from home, far from home, from the people who will continue to destroy what remained for many years to come of my hope, of happiness. Thank you for listening. See you in the next video.